So there's lots of instructor input. They tend to be very current materials. They don't do a lot of back purchasing of titles, as well as they have a wide breadth of student abilities, be it from age or just basic abilities. So basically, library media specialists often build a core collection that provides some breadth and then concentrates on building emphasis collections that can target particular curricular goals. So what they might do is, instead of buying enough copies for, say, 3 classrooms, buy one batch and work with those teachers to get it into each classroom at different times so that it's not such a burden on the library's budget or on the library itself. Now, with school media centers, published reviews play a significant role in how they learn about titles for the collection. Now, some of the sources they'll be using would be book list, school library journal, or children's catalog. Now, special libraries, it's really hard to make any general statements about special libraries because there's so many of them. I mean, they tend to fall into 3 categories, but of course, those are not exclusive. You've got scientific and technical, corporate and industrial, subject and research. So that, like, say with a hospital library can have both scientific and corporate materials, and if it's responsibility to support both the medical and the administrative staff, there could also be a flavor of a public library if the library offers patient service programs or materials for patients. So even though there are basically over 9,000 special libraries between the US and Canada, they really haven't influenced the professional practice that much because they are so diverse and have such different needs. Now, 2 characteristics that seem to plague a lot of libraries, particularly with special libraries, is a lack of space and the reliance on online resources. So they are constantly going through and deselecting. They tend to have a very now collection because of that. Now, I see that you all had your assignment done. I think it's interesting that you all came up with a public library. I guess given the demographics that you've got at the moment, that's what you'll be working with. I hope you can see where this is going, that this collection will then, you'll look at the formats as well as the sources and start figuring out how do you actually start evaluating those sources, or what else would you put in the collection. So basically from this, it's going to be a growth experience. And there will be an element of peer review. We'll be sharing the group work around the different groups. So what I would like for you to do this week is to really talk about in your groups where you would find the experts who you can identify the best new material for your selected selection information agency, which is a public library. Which review sources are you likely to consult that are the most authoritative? Now, because a lot of the sources are going to be electronic that you've submitted, that's going to be a little different take than maybe being able to just find something in Library Journal or School Library Journal talking about it. So I think that'll be a challenge. But something that libraries are currently facing right now is how do you gauge that? And actually, Kathleen talked a little bit about that last week. The other thing I'd also like you to do is, as an individual, submit to your group. How do you see yourself developing a plan to keep your current awareness up? So basically, how do you keep up your awareness of your collection, of what's out there, as well as technology, how the profession is changing. So just to get an idea of how you're currently doing it or how you plan to do it. And then we also have discussion questions, which are how do public library collections, how should they be like or unlike large chain bookstores, and which events or sources in the community are likely to stimulate demand for recreational or informational materials. And as always, remember, I have office hours tomorrow, Wednesday from 4 to 5. I'm also available via email. And I will see you next week. And please listen to the following lectures, the interviews that were done by Sue and Dave, who are both from University of Advancing Technologies, which is a self-proclaimed private computer college for geeks by geeks. I think it's a really interesting take on libraries, what Sue is doing, and Dave talks about more the management side of that, or the administration of a college library. So, and I will see you next week.